And we are live. Things are jank as all hell today. No. But anyway, I believe we are now actually live. Yes. Thumbnail is all wrong. Oh well. I will post the stream link now. And Twitch counts. Spectator. There we are. And so the between, as we are between quickly, I will just fly around the... Can I fly? Why can't I fly? Oh, let me fly. Oh, that's why. Oh, my app thing's on, so I can't actually do anything. That's lovely. Anyway, after practice, which we missed due to me breaking it and starting it early, apologies to Timo and Noah for messing that up. We have Nassim as the fastest driver, Fulvio Phoenix the second fastest, Max Romer as the first, Victor Bernat as the fourth, Timo Nathaniel as the fifth, and Alex Halm as the sixth fastest driver. So, looks like Bijou Racing and the Quail Racing are both two very strong teams, and then actually Overdrive with Nassim and Ven fitting in nicely in first and seventh. Maybe they can turn that into a 1-2. And then Jason Milanov in 11th for Breaking Point, and then the rest of the drivers have not arrived. Yoinks. I hope they're about to win this. Definitely. I can actually see the chat now. I've got it set up properly. So I can see the masses saying all the lovely things about how great stream's going. Oof. We didn't get any lovely intro because for some reason it didn't work, but oh well. We have 50 seconds until we get started with qualifying, which for the first 2 minutes or so qualifying, I'll just go over the track. It's 5.8 kilometers long, 21 corners, I believe, 21 corners, and amazing racing. Hope you guys are having a lovely evening, because I'm having a stressful one. We have 20 seconds now until qualifying begins. We are on board with Nassim at the minute, flying through cameras, looking at different views. We can look at Victor Bernat. Let's look at Timo. Cameras flicking around, everything going a bit wild. And qualifying has begun, so I believe I can turn that off. Go to the front driver, but actually I will come out of all the cars, and so now I'm going to go over a lap of the Tunisian Grand Prix, and as the drivers come out, I will also be showing you a lap as they all flood around the first corner. They're getting there a bit faster than me. I can't ride on board with them at the minute, but as I fly down to the first corner, you can see as the drivers are exiting pit lane, you'll see turn 1, which braking is about 100 meters, so here at the beginning of the curve, just after that, you bring the car down, apexing quite early actually through this corner to be able to bring the car outbound, to keep it in. It's turn 2 and then turn 3 here, having to keep it not too far out so you can bring it back for this long right-hander. Cars now perfectly set up, hopefully, for each driver to be able to take this with maximum speed, using a lot of this curb properly from some drivers just to maximize the speed. We fly over the Pirelli sign, now down to turn 4. As I scroll up so I can actually see a track map. There we are. Whoop, that wasn't it. Let's scroll up again so you can see these are drivers who I don't think anyone started a lap yet. I think Nassim's the first out and out lap, but here we are. At turn 4, it's quite a difficult corner. You're braking sort of here-ish. Maybe 100 meters for this. Bringing it in, tapping the curb right in the middle, bringing it out all the way to the side here. But then having to get it over again to be able to open up this corner and try and be flat out for as long as possible. Because it's from here, it's just flat out. So you bring the car out a little bit to straighten up here. Stay to the right and then bring it into the left. Take a lot of this curb because there isn't really track limit, so you can sit right on top of it. And then bring the car to the left. Some drivers that go wide there may use a lot of curb here as we sit quick as the driver comes past because they're using a lot of the curb. Setting a fast lap, then 21 seconds up on his fastest out lap. As down to the hairpin, drivers on qualifying laps flying past us. Just using this as a bit of time to slow everything down, but we'll go and fly into the fast nature of qualifying in a second as Ven has actually spun and returned to pit lane here. As we'll just leave any odd name in the corner, but yes, flat out for a good portion of the tracks, but here, as we see drivers coming through, you're braking about this area, sort of, I zoom in quick, sort of around the 100, sort of just after, so this area. As you can see, as one of the Bijou racing cars come through, you're looking sort of for a generic apex where you just sort of bring the car in, take it right in the middle and bring the car out. But you'd end up using a lot of this curb on the exit as there is actually a driver on their way up. Alex Halm in the Aquel racing car. So as he comes around this corner, you'll see that he'll use a lot of the curb on the exit. And then, sorry, apologies for the little stop. But anyway, after he uses the curb, and you try and keep it as far out and try and take this flat using a lot of the curb. Little lift through here possibly, but just bring the car over the crest. You can't quite see that. You might see drivers using the curb, possibly not. As you come around the left-hander here at turn 13. You'll then fly down to turn 14, which actually, turn 14 is on the braking. For the chicane of turn 15 is 16. But you come down, you can see, because you can see the braking marks are on the corner. So you start braking about 100, so you're still turning slightly for some drivers as you're braking into here. And then bringing the camera out a little bit for this chicane. You'll see where we are. You bring it in. And you sort of just take apex about there. A lot of curb there for the Minty Fresh driver, not so much for others, but you're braking at about 100 meters there. So it's sort of as you straighten up, you're instantly into braking. Take a lot of curb for this first one, not as much for the second, to be able to get a good exit using all the curb on the exit. And then down the long straight. Which Quail racing driver is that? Hopefully this one, not that one. This one. As you come down into the final chicane, you'll be braking at about 100 meters. Bring the car through, taking the apex just next to the orange curb, maybe this part just before it. And just carrying the speed, going flat out through this little right kink, then braking, bringing the car out far to the left, far to the right, to be able to open up this left-hander as much as possible. Bring it all the way to the right here, so through the left. And then it's just flat out all the way to the line. That took me 5 minutes. Okay, there's the 2 streaming cars. There's the end of the lap. And now we will have a look at how drivers are doing. Here's Stephen Coverta for, I believe that is for Tunisia actually, as he goes through the turn 15-16 chicane. Doesn't open DRS. Or maybe we just can't see DRS being opened. And down, braking just about the 100. bringing the car, missing the apex a little bit, not quite hearing the car go over the curb, and then flat out to the line to set a lap time. Not set a lap time. As we watch Phoenix through 4 and 5 very nicely. 6, 7, 8 and 9 are all flat out. Not much of a struggle, especially for the caliper at which he is racing at. Brings the car to the left a little bit to keep the speed, and then braking just after the 100-meter board. Brings the car in very nicely. A lovely red steering wheel for the It's Staying Racing drivers. Through long right-hander, braking into the chicane, taking a lot of the... only a little bit of the first curve, only using the red, not quite getting all over the such curve as some drivers are. And then using all of the exit down to the final triple chicane. Somewhat of a triple chicane, you go left and flat out, lifting a little bit through there to be able to get some braking easier. And flat out to the line, bringing it right to the inside to make it as short as possible to set a 1:31.32. As I will leave a little computer I have set up, as I'll go grab some food quickly. I have returned. Oh, pardon me. Apologies. We will watch Pietro as he finishes the lap. God, that looks so over contrast in the light, but we'll look to Nassim now, who's at the moment our pulse is by 0.4 of a second. He's about to start his lap. I'll commentate a little bit over this. Oh, he isn't. I thought it... Why is the end and the start of the lap look somewhat similar? Phoenix, is he on a lap? Where is he? Just go to turn 1 now. He is on a lap. Keeping the car tight. Gear shift, rotating the car a little bit there. Interesting. As we go down to turn 4. Very nice apex. Keeping the car to the left to open up the right hand of turn 5. Ooh, there's a Quail racing car, I believe, on the left there, which might have closed up his line a little bit, losing him a little bit of time. Have to see, he wasn't quite able to open up the corner that much. Through the first sector timing at some point, or maybe... no, we haven't got lap timing for this. Oh well. But Phoenix now going to finish his lap. Lifting a little bit as he goes over the curb. Keeping it a little bit wide from that curb. It seems like either that's a mistake or that's just how he's racing this track. Because that's how he's done it a couple of times now. A little bit wide of that apex maybe. He wasn't quite riding the curb as much as we've seen other drivers on different laps. I've got music playing. I'm so confused. There's something playing in my ears behind me, but I can't tell what it is. And Phoenix 10th down on the pole time, I believe, but still up on his best time. There we are. Ooh, he's a little bit down on his best time in the second sector. In the third sector, let's see how he can do. The last 20 seconds of qualifying, so he might be able to get one lap in after this if he can get to the end fast enough. But it'll be very close between Phoenix and the line as we jump off board quick for this final corner. So he pushes it right to the line, bringing it to the inside to have the shortest line. He slows down as to not start a lap. That's the end of qualifying for Phoenix. Timo on a lap at the minute as we watch him through. Where is that? Oh, this is the final corner. This is the end of his lap. Excuse me, but as Timo goes to cross the line, he is up on his time at the minute. Crosses the line to stay third. So at the moment, the top 3 is Nassim, Phoenix, and Timo, unless Victor has anything to say about it. At the minute, he's up, but he's still about 4/10 off of pole, but that could get him third if he hasn't lost too much time in this final sector. Victor crosses the line and goes 4th. Ooh, how close was it between him and third? Oh, there was a good old gap between that, so as Max Romer crosses the line, he's on a good lap so far, only about 6/10 off. Another 4/10 as Daniel Searle is the only driver left to finish a lap as he crosses the line, he sets a 133.8 and goes 11th. And so your top 5 after qualifying are Nassim Rula, Fulvio Phoenix, Timo Nathaniel, Victor Bernat, and Sarah Mulfetova. I tried my best with the pronunciations. I feel bad for Sarah because every time I say her name on stream, I get a text, I get a DM from her like 5 seconds afterwards saying you pronounced my name wrong. Mulvetova. Anyway, 6th is Max Roma for Bijou Racing. So Bijou Racing, 2 in the top 6. What was this? Aquayo Racing, 2 in the top 7. Jason Milanov being the only Breaking Point Racing driver for today. While we have 2 Overdrive squishing the top 10 in a Overdrive or over the limit sandwich, even not Overdrive, over the limit. From 1st to 10th are all within Ven and Nassim. Hopefully we could see a little bit of a Nassim's pace in Ven today. Maybe we can see if Ven quite has the pace, we could see a 1-2 from over the limit, but that might be a bit of a struggle as of how far back he is starting. We'll just have to see what happens at turn 1. We have 3 minutes and 12 seconds until what is it? Until the race starts. As we quickly get a view of all the cars down the pit lane. You have the medical car and safety car, which looks the exact same. And we have the drivers. We get a nice little side angle. There we are. Oh, what? There we are. All the drivers sat right under the light, which really like overexposes and just makes the car very bright, which does make the colours look not quite as nice. So under this lighting, it's not quite as easy to see the Minty Fresh cars compared to the rest of them. We might actually try and speak to the Minty Fresh guys just before we go to the race. I'll try that just to see how they're doing. As self-proclaimed funniest team on the grid, I will speak to them quickly. I'm here with Minty Fresh.
Boy, Will KB and Cohen Van Exel, we are the Minty Fresh squad. I'm in fucking last.
Let's go!
Wait, I'm not last! Let's go!
20 minutes ago, it's 1 lap and not last, baby.
I spent the entire team quality fucking munching.
Ethan. Wait, will the safety cars also be on the grid?
Possibly. But we'll have to return to pit lane just as the race starts.
Who's gonna overtake? Who's gonna be the safety car overtaking?
You should, like, race. You should, like, join the race for shits and giggles.
You should be like the men of
No,
I behind for 1 lap.
It's so funny.
I did that in pre-season testing.
Jello? Yeah.
That was fun.
That was funny. That was funny though.
Well, the fact that you guys were like,
You'll probably lose your permission to be a car, but who cares? Who cares?
oh, Timo will tell me off so much if I were to just drive out now.
Oh my, he doesn't like fun, bro. Let us have fun, alright? We understand that you spend like 2 billion years of your life sweating this track, okay?
Let
Let Mr. Ethan have his fun. Let him drive around the track, do like a medical car lap, come back, and then everything will be fine.
If I have my steering wheel set up, I would. But also, this stream's here so that everyone can see the race and not just the view from the back.
I wouldn't complain if I saw a medical car lap. I'm not gonna lie.
Look, that's what my stream is going to have to deal with, the view from the back.
It's gonna be like, oh, that's the leader while being lap.
My hope for the race is let other people die and then overtake them. I'm not going to be quick. I've done 0 practice this week. I've been working a week. The only practice I've done is my fucking quali lap.
Do you think you can get top 10 today, maybe? As everyone disappears to the grid slowly. And so
if one goes to Narnia, I can take B1.
like how if I take it, I take a view from the front, you can just see the medical cars at the back. Yes. Anyway, good luck, you guys. We have about 40 seconds to start. Goodbye. Goodbye. Have a good race. That was the Minty Fresh squad, the self-proclaimed funniest team on the grid, as there was already a driver ready to race, weaving his tyres. That's actually Ven. As we actually, if I just don't hit drive until lights come up, I actually should be good. If I choose Nassim, there we are. If I just don't hit drive, I should instantly. There we are. And as the race starts, ooh, that's a Lamborghini Tech with a good start. Nassim still leading. Ooh, about 3 wide into turn 1. As I change the camera quickly over. So you can look, Timo has made his way up into 2nd. Alex Halm is racing his teammate for 4th. Sarah Mulavtova has binned it. As Will KB has made his way up to 9th from last, and Cohen Van Axel, 2 Minty Fresh boys we were just talking with, have had very opposite starts. Will is already top 10. Jason Milanov in the Breaking Point racing car is in 7th. Ven Lenuzanov is in 6th, starting 10th. So a couple of drivers have made some mistakes. Then we have Victor Bernat, the 2 Aquera Racing drivers, in 4th and 5th. But at the moment, the race is still headed by our pole sitter, Nassimula. And Hoffa is off there. There's Fulvio Phoenix is trying to chase down Nassim. Nassim already has a 1 second lead on the drivers behind. And then Timo is about a 2nd behind Phoenix, and Alex is actually closing down on. Ooh, that is a little punt. It was my hit to the back of Van Exel, I believe. If we had a good angle there, we are looking back at Van Exel, who I believe was just punted off. So we have a good mixture of tyres. If you look more to the rear of the grid, you'll see a lot more medium tyres. So drivers looking to go long and get an undercut on the drivers ahead. Or if you look to the front, there will be a great mix of softs, drivers that are fast and are looking to just get a lap over with and then get their first stint over. Oh, as Will KB doesn't quite leave room for Max Romero. Romero squeezes a little bit on Will KB. There's a good old fight in the midfield here. But Max Romero is pulling away from Jeremy Guth. Stephen Coversa near the back end of the grid is chasing down Pietro Lunghi in the Lamborghini Tech here. Could we see an overtake? Oh, that is Ven. Ven from P5. Ven from P5 is off. He is spun on the exit of the turn 15-16 chicane. And he's going to be losing a lot of time down this straight now as drivers getting a good exit. Just had the overspeed on him. Locking the tyres a little bit there, it seemed, as he pits for a new front wing. As we watch Ven stopping for his pit stop, as we watch Daniel Searle for the Euro Proton car looking down the inside of Heroes there, and now he's being chased down by Pietro Lunghi. strong old fight in the midfield as Will KB there. Having, as Pietro Lunghi is collided with Coverza and Soul, I believe. And there is a big pile up at turn 4 and turn 5. As we watch Daniel Sol as the field is spread out a little bit with collisions. As Renner Heroes is just spun out of the turn 15-16 chicane. Nassim sets the fastest lap of a 1:32.4. Coverza is also off at that same chicane. Drivers struggling with getting the power down there, it seems. As we look to the final 3 corners as they pit for presumably a new front wing, as that is Uzunov making an overtake on Daniel So. Down to the first corner. What can Soul do to make an overtake? As down to turn 4, Uzunov is just slowly opening it up, as now we're on board with Will KB, who is chasing down. As he gets a bit too much on the curb. Maybe there was a slight tap from another driver as well, but he is off. Yes, there is the other driver, Sarah Mulfetova. They are both going slowly, but he took a little bit too much curb and the car just got beached and spun around. He needs to watch that out for that. And maybe same problem with Sarah there, getting a bit too much on the curb twice, losing the car, and now is stopped on the racing line, keeping the car rolling. That could have been a nasty incident. As we now look to the Aquera racing driver of Alex Helm chasing down Timo Nathaniel in T1. As Sarah has DNF'd from this race after presumably feeling like she'd made too many mistakes. Alex chasing down Timo into turn 4. Big gap between these drivers, about half a second. You can close it down pretty quickly on the straight though. Now we are on board with our last place driver in P16, 1 second off of the next driver, Heroes. As Will KB is in pit lane for some reason. Probably, oh yes, when he hit the wall for that instant. Will KB at the minute in last place and will be for quite a while at the back. So Alex Helm is chasing down Timo. Just have to see if the camera swaps at the moment. Looking at Stephen Coverza taking his time through turn 5 there. 6 and 7, 8 and 9, all flat out corners. So we swap to his teammate, Renner Heroes. Through the same part of track actually. There is that is the other Minty Fresh car of Van Exel spinning on the same curb his teammate did. So both Minty Fresh drivers now struggling on their medium tyres, no, soft tyres. Still struggling on the medium tyres. Only 6 laps into the race. I understand the tyre wear is high for this track, presumably. At 1.5 of the normal rate this game does tyre wear. But that's still... It's just keeping it off of the green and white rumble strips. As long as you don't get the middle of the car there, then you are safe. And that is Will KB overtaking his teammate, I believe. Teammate's going very slowly. He's got suspension damage, possibly. Let's go on board with him. Is there suspension damage or is he just taking it slowly? He was just taking it slowly there, I believe, as Will has spun on the turn 16 exits. He isn't moving. This could be a retirement, as we keep an eye on it. As Van Axel passing his teammate, we could see both Minty Fresh drivers possibly retire. Will KB struggling with the car? He brings it down to first. Is he going to try and get the car moving, or is he just going to sit there now? As the gap between him and his teammate, who is last, constantly grows. He is returned to pit lane, which means he's retired. But Van Axel has driven his way to pit lane, which means he can make a change. So Will KB has retired from this race, and his teammate making a stop now as we look to the front. Nassim setting stellar at times. Car was damaged, I couldn't drive anymore. Okie dokie. That is from Sarah Mulvetova, our driver who, our second retirement of today, saying the car was too damaged to drive. And then Will KB also retiring due to him returning to pit lane. Van Axel, who is still in this race because he drove to pit lane. As we now look at onboard of Uzanov, who's chasing down Lungi. A little bit of a driver's eye there from what Ven was seeing, which wasn't a whole much when the wheel was turned. Be careful, because that inside of a turn 9 there is it dips quite a bit. So that is Koverza around at turn 4. Koverza making a couple of mates, and Uzanov just passing Lungi as that mistake is made. Be lovely if we could actually see the fight between Uzanov and Lungi instead of just looking at Steven Koverza, who has just had a spin. As Phoenix is in pit lane now for his first stop of the race. I believe he was on soft tyre to start this race. As we now look forwards a little bit at Phoenix, who has just come out of pit lane now and is ahead of Jason Milanov, but on cold tyres, I believe. Now Milanov pushing to try and catch him in the orange KFC Breaking Point racing car. As Sol is the second driver to make a strategic pit stop, it seems. So every other driver has been due to damage. Will KB is still sat in pit lane. He must just be watching through drivers or watching on board with his teammate, maybe. So dropping down to 13th there. As Nassim, our leading driver, pits, so this could be a chance for Timo to take the lead. As Nassim stops, we look to Victor Bernat as we keep an eye on the mini-map. Timo also pits. Will Victor pit though? Be interesting to see. No, he doesn't on the medium, but his teammate on the softs does pit. And so our top two after qualifying have both pit and are both now exiting onto the track. Nassim still in first after his pit lane. He's on a set of medium tyres now, which presumably he can take to the end. Maybe he'll take a two-stop and go soft, medium, soft, just to get an extra punch at the end with the low fuel. And then Timo coming out in P5. As Ven also making his pit stop now, but he's in P11. And Max Romer pushing his car through this now flat out section of the track. 4 corners. It's just not going too wide. As Ven coming out pit lane. Jeremy Goose we look at. As he is very close to the rear of the driver ahead. There we are, as we just look next to the driver quickly. Pushing as hard as he can to catch the driver ahead. Now let's see where the camera takes us to Jeremy, but an off-board shot. And can he catch him? He would have the slipstream maybe through this fast assortment of corners. And through the penultimate corner now onto final kink of the track. Onto the main straight. He is 6/10 behind, losing time. As we now are looking at Phoenix actually, who is closing down on Victor Bernat for second, trying to secure himself a place on the podium. As we now look back at his teammate Jeremy Guth in 8th place, about 2 seconds faster than the driver ahead there. Alex Helmstedt in almost a 140, but that probably was an outlap, and then Jeremy Guth struggling on traction a little bit there, only 1.2 seconds behind. As Coverza has spun at the turn 16 chicane, spinning the car around. Will he be taking it to pit lane, or is the front wing fine? He gets very close to the wall there, but is able to keep the car safe. As we look to Timo now, who's closing down on Milanov. Can he make the pass into turn 15? He looked at it but couldn't quite make it. Turn 16 there, everything is fine. Now he has the slipstream down the straight. Will he go for a slight dive bomb? Looks to the inside. And through Timo goes. But can he keep the position? Yes, because Milanov pits. It's lap 11, and first of our medium runners have made their pit lane. Jason Milanov. As he stops on his mark with Daniel So just coming through turn 9 now. And then as my in P9 taking his way down to his pit box. Jeremy Guth, who is in 7th. That's a slow driver there. That is back marker of Heroes, I believe. Who has been caught a little bit. You have Will KB still sat in pit lane. Maybe we can go and speak to Will now about what happened there. Can I drag him around? No. So we have a look at Fulvio Phoenix now. I'll just quickly jump into the voice call of Will, and we'll talk to him about his incident, which happened 4 laps ago now. Only 4 laps. This race is been quite eventful. The driver's pitting now. It's pit stop start. We'll go to Will.
Oh, someone got a penalty.
Hello, Will. What happened?
Okay.
This prep interview.
Do you know the story of what happened throughout the race, or?
Well, just with the multiple incidents you had.
Okay, we can be quiet about that one. Can I go through like the start of my race and then there? Because there's only like 4 laps.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so start the race. Like off the start, Pietro kind of muddles the start out. So I go on the inside of him, press code because there's people left of me, and I stick it around the outside. And then from there, I keep on the inside, and then there's like 2 cars in front as we get to the straight after the long right-hander. There's 2 cars. I make it 3 wide and go up the inside of fucking both of them.
Yep.
And then I defend from, I think, Goop behind me. Or like just moving my car to the right, unintentionally, because understeer is a thing. And then from there, it's just kind of me holding position and defending like a madman.
Yeah.
And then after that, my fucking batteries in my controller, like I have vibration on my controller, right?
Yeah.
I can feel the car and like through vibration. It cut off. Like after like the first lap, and I was like, shit.
Oh.
I'm going to drive a full stint with no feel of the car. So I was basically doing that, and then by like lap 3, my car just started like twitching, and I'm like, what the fuck? How am I? I'm like, I was controlling it,
Oh.
and then I think like by lap 3, by the little wiggly section, and then there's a curb on the inside that wants to kill you all the time.
Yeah.
On that, fucking tried saved it, and then Sarah like ran into me.
Yeah.
Like, Sarah, if you do watch this, I'm very sorry. That was completely unintentional. I'll pay you back in like, I'll give you like £5 if you want. No, from there I got really big suspension damage, and so I went to pit and then swapped my batteries out, and then like on the out lap I was defending from someone, and then I look at chat as like after the like long right hand into like the little chicane.
Yep.
And I just looked at chat, got on the power too early and fucking spun it.
Wow.
So,
The struggles of content creation.
yeah, but no, it was so fun for those like first 2 laps. I fucking went from the back of the pack to the middle in like a lap, just like overtaking and making opportunity. So like I know I have the racecraft to do well, but my speed isn't there, but I can defend. So I'm like, from a standpoint where I haven't raced all week, or like haven't done any sort of like sim racing all week, I'm really happy with that. Because even though I DNF'd, I'm taking the positives from it. Like, I'm enjoying it. I know I'm only here for fun, to be honest. Points I don't really care about, because at the end of the day, it's just bragging rights. Because you don't win anything for this. So I'm like, okay, that's whatever. I'll enjoy it and have my fun.
No, you know what you win? You win the cool PNG of the trophy. Like, come on.
Oh, yeah. Oh. But no, I'm happy with how that went, or however long it lasted.
Yeah, I think it was 6 or 7 laps. But yeah, we've got a message from Sarah on the stream saying that there's no need to pay anything. It's just luck.
It's alright.
Yeah,
Things like that happen, to be honest.
Yeah, it was just sort of you got stuck on the curb on the outside at turn 8, which spun you around, and you caught Sarah there, and then you just like I think we've had about 4 or 5 drivers spinning at turn 16, which is where you made your final corner.
That's turn 16. How many fucking corners are on this track?
There's 21.
What's turn 16? I no clue.
It's because that like really squiggly section, like every single thing counts as the corner. And turn 1 isn't the hairpin; it's the kink at the beginning of the track. That's turn 1.
Oh God.
So that they're counting all the little kinks as well. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's weird. Anyway, have a good race, Cohen, and thank you, Will, for talking to us about what happened.
No worries, man. You have a good fun time interviewing Sarah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Goodbye. Yeah, that was Will KB, our 3rd retirement of the day, who hasn't retired yet because he's watching his teammate, I believe. As we watch Alex Howe making his way through the chicane, where Will booted it off the track, taking all the curb possible, and keep the car very wide through turn 17 there. Through 18, 19, 20, we can look at the plain white Aquail Racing helmet. Stephen Coverza spins for the 3rd time today, and is overtaken by his teammate. As we wait now, Victor Bernat setting his first lap. Jason Milanov has spun at turn 19, I believe, on the exit of turn 18. He can get up to speed, he can keep 7th, but is keeping the speed, and with probably rather warm tyres there, might be a little bit of a struggle. As I just keep an eye on chat and such. There's the Breaking Point Racing helmet there. You now watch Coverza, who has seemingly a Alonso-inspired helmet, it looks like there. In P14, as everything stretches out a little bit. We have 4 drivers squished up at the minute at the back. That is a mix of back markers and front runs, I believe, so everything's very stretched out. Nassim having just overtaken P10, it looks like, so from P10 down is 1 lap down, and we'll be only completing 25 laps of this race, unless there's an incident which causes them to overtake Nassim. But for now, 15 laps completed. The running order is Nassim in first, Fulvio Phoenix in second, Timo Nathaniel in third, Victor Bernat in fourth, Alex Helm in fifth, Max Romero in sixth, Jason Milano in seventh, Jeremy Guth in 8th, and Uzanov in P9. P10 is held by Daniel Sol, 11 is Mai, P12 is Lungi, P13 is Heroes, P14 is Koverza, and P15 is Van Exel. Our 3 retirements for today is Will KB, Sarah Mulfetova, and Hoffa. There's a little bit of squabbling for positions between presumably a front and a back runner. As we see Alex Hound pushing through the little squiggly section, as Will called it. There's sort of a quick left, right, left, where there's a deadly curve on the exit of turn 8. And through the hairpin. The M Performance BMW Motorsport drivers. Timo has spun at the chicane. Victor Bernat is a little bit behind, but Victor is now entering the chicane. Can Timo, with warm tyres, he might struggle a little bit, but he's now going to push. He's going to have a little bit less speed than Victor Bernat now, who could look an overtake going into turn 1 maybe if he's close enough, because Timo's going to have to take it easy. Oh, his Heroes slowing down for front runners. That could have been an issue with the car that they were stopping for there. As we look back at Timo, now, who has Victor Bernat right on his tail. Into turn 1, ooh, Bernat looks inside a little bit. Maybe it's just a difference in the line, taking an earlier apex. But we watch forwards from Timo because that's where the fighting's happening. And we watch off-board now as Bernat has a slipstream here, trying not to hit the back of the Beiju racing car as Timo gets on the curb, loses the car and goes into Bernat there. Timo losing multiple positions and Bernat taking probably a strong amount of damage after that as Van Exel has spun on the final turn. He's got to try and make it an entire lap with whatever damage he has. Try and just make it to the end. Pay attention to the steering wheel there. Everything looks fine. The steering looks straight. Alex Helm is chasing down his teammate who is going to have damage. Daniel Sol comes into the pit lane. As we watch Bernat being chased down by his teammate. Will there be team orders to let him through, or is that all we will see? As down long straight we go. You can see Bernat to the outside. That looked more like team orders, but that could have just been a very clean overtake. I'll have to see how much Bernat fights back. Bernat isn't the soft compound tyres, so maybe without trying he could get back, and it was just the collision warming up his tyres a little bit, sliding across the tarmac. As this is the only real race going on the track, as Fulvio Phoenix is, I mean, so far up the road, just overtaking the back marker of Pietro Lunghi. And we look to Nassim, who is now past Cone Van Exel and MM P10, so it's still P10 down is lapped as Timo pits to presumably fix the damage that he got from the collision, as Mai has spun on the exit of turn 10, more sort of through turn 11. The car might have just let go, as we now watch Jeremy Guth, who's actually right behind Timo Nathaniel. Timo on the medium tyres, presumably quite cold after coming out pit lane. And Jeremy Guth on the soft tyres after being on that tyre for a couple of laps now. As Nassim has come in for his second pit stop with about 8 laps this race to go. Nassim has taken a second stop. And so is Mai there. That could be due to damage because they did spin just now. And Van Exel is out after pitting to fix damage that he had. And Daniel Sol coming through turn 3 now. Turn 4. Timo overtaking Jason there. I'm guessing that's just a clean overtake. Sadly, the cameras did not pick up on it, but Jason now returned to pit lane. As the board will change in a second due to the pit lane being an entire corner less of the track. You do gain a good amount of time. Even 2 corners, really. Corner less on the track. Ooh, is that as Coversa struggling on the exit of turn 18 and losing the car. Looked very snaky there. Milano spending a little bit more time than Timo did on his last pit stop, actually. Timo spent exactly 30, that was 33.8. As Milanov is on the soft tyre, presumably for a final 7 laps of the race. Jason Milanov now looking down into turn 4, that is. As Guth through turn 11 there. Just trying to nurse his car to the end without any damage to pick up a nice lump sum of points just after 100 braking for this difficult chicane, because you're there's still a bit of lateral G going through the car as you're braking because you've just come out of a corner. So just trying not to lock up can be a little bit difficult, but it's getting the braking late enough that you are straightened up. As we have 6 laps of the race to go. 19 laps completed, 26 laps of the race. We are on the 20th lap now. Jeremy Guth returned to pit lane to make his final stop of the race. Some drivers might be going for the 1 stop. Most seem to be going for a 2 at the minute. Alex Helm on one medium tyres even at the minute. Using a good amount of the curve there. Ooh, this is the front wing of Mai here. He presumably has caught it on the curb and the car has spun round after bottoming out. Only losing a handful of positions, now on P12. 9 seconds behind Pietro Lunghi. As Rena Heroes slows down to let front runners pass. Good driving from the back marker there. It's not something you want to say, but the fact that they're getting out of the way for drivers that are passing is a good thing. Jason here catching on Ven. Previous commentators, we cut away to Mai returning to pit lane for about the 3rd or 4th time this race, as presumably after the driver stops we will jump back to the Milano fight. Now Daniel Sol, who is 27 seconds off that fight, but he is close to Phoenix, who is very much pulling away, and that is Van Axel ahead of them. As Mai's only in pit lane for 28.5 seconds there, making his final stop of the race. As Guth, Milanov and Uznov are very close together at the minute. And Mai's been let out into a group of front runners and back markers. So it's all very confusing to look at as Coversa pits now. So at the moment, the running order with 4 laps of this race to go is Nassim Rula, Phoenix, Bernat and Helm. But Bernat has pit and Alex Helm has spun on turn 19. And so he will be passing his teammate Bernat, making a final stop onto the soft tyre. Max Romer passing him. Will Timo pass him? Surely not. He is barely on the straight. So Bernat keeps 5th place. At the minute, your podium is looking like Nassim Phoenix and Alex Howe. But we'll have to see how it changes. So we look back as Uzanov and Jason Milanov were side by side into the braking. Ooh, Uzanov turns in a little bit on the driver's sister team, Breaking Point Racing. Over the limit and Breaking Point related teams, as Breaking Point Racing's owner is Venelin Uzanov, who races for Over the Limit. As he goes down the inside at turn 2, a little Hoonigan sticker there for Ken Block's racing team, Hoonigan. Ooh, as Ven pushes Jason a little bit wide. These two racing for, presumably, for closely related teams, but still fighting very hard. It's like watching Pierre Gasly if he were to fight, or Yuki Tsunoda if he were to fight and defend against Max if he was close. Ooh, getting a little bit wide there, very close to spinning the car possibly. But side by side into turn 10. Then holds it round the outside, but can't quite keep the position. Jason makes the overtake, but Ven will be looking to gain that position back. Let's look on board of Alex Helm, who is 4/10 behind Timo. We'll look to the fight between these two. Ooh, as Ven looks down the inside and makes a great overtake. But now he's got 2 drivers behind him, very close, who both have the slipstream. So could we see Jason taking a very tight line, looking to the inside, Ven not giving him any room. Almost touching rear wheel to front wing there. As Jimmy Guth has spun. Jimmy Guth has spun and or slowed down for the front runner of Nassim, who is right behind this battle. Ooh, we don't want them to get caught up. Presumably we'd want Nassim to pass Jason and hold Jason up a little bit, as the over the limit drivers are right next to each other on track but nowhere near each other in the standings. So 2/10 between Milanov and Uzanov. Lots of Novs. I guess it's just the Contre. I think they're of the same nationality. Let me actually move this, because it's probably been annoying someone for a little bit. No one said in chat, but in fact it's been covered up. Race. So we Milanov. Ooh, he is spun there. Was 2 drives come through. Spun at turn 11 there. Must be turn 12 as we now look to Renault Heroes on board. I think it's so dramatic from this somewhat driver's eye camera where you can see every little movement of the wheel. Ooh, good exit from Heroes there. So get past My now has a slipstream. Ooh, as Alex Helm has spun, losing a position to his teammate and possibly Timo as well. As we look back to this fight, as they're fighting very hard, and Timo has overtaken Alex Helm, who is stopped on the side of the track at turn 4, or maybe exit turn 5 there. But this is the fight that we want to see. The rear view of Mai and the front view of Heroes. Who, this could be an amazing fight all the way to the line, as we have 2 laps of this race to go. 24 laps completed, 26 laps of the race. This is currently lap 25. As we look at Heroes, the concentration, you can't see through the visor, even though in conditions like this you would probably have a clear visor. Can't see through it, as this is online computers and it does not matter. Now down to turn 9. We'll never know if Heroes can get the braking correct enough to close the position down. Ooh, as Hero's closing down a little bit on my here. So look on the rear view of Matus. I'm gonna start attempting names again. But maybe a light slipstream for Heroes here. But nothing there. The Bernat has closed down a lot on Max Romer. Going from about a second to 8/10. So could we see an overtake chance as Nassim crosses the line to start the final lap of the race. He is just behind his teammate Uzunov there, as Jeremy Guth holds him up a little bit possibly. As we're in the final lap of the race, we will watch on board with our lights to flag pole sitter and winner of this race, unless there is a mistake. But for now, Nassim is leading. Oh, is that as a driver off? That is Jeremy Guth who is off there. And now, presumably, Ven would slow down just to not have to push the car too much. Oh, as Nassim locks the rears, but there is a 16-second buffer between him and the driver ahead. So that should be enough, but the rear tyres will be a little bit warm, so we might take it cautiously through here. These very fast sections of corner. Jason Milanov stopped maybe. And anyway, Bernat makes the overtake on Max Romer, and Sol makes an overtake on Milanov. Nassim following the off-road as we quickly look back to Max Romer. They are at turn 10 there. They aren't. Turn 4. Nassim through the final complex of corners. Turn 18, 19, 20 and 21, which is just a kink. Through the penultimate corner. Very nice. Now Nassim Rula for over the limit racing. From the lights to flag, Nassim wins the Tunisian Grand Prix. Even a little applause. But yes, he set the fastest time in qualifying by about half a second, I think. And then he won the race by an astounding 11.7 seconds. So we now watch Bernat, who is 38 seconds behind the next driver. As we watch Daniel Sol, who is just crossing the line now as he finishes his race. And so does Cohen Van Exel. Victor Bernat in P3 now, coming to cross the line. 2 seconds behind is Max Romer and 2 seconds behind him. Team Nathaniel, so maybe there will be team orders. Probably not, because there's 2 cars between them. I say there could be team orders to fight for the championship, but it's round 1, and they aren't going to do a Ferrari, even though they're in a red livery. As Bijou Racing take 4th and 5th. Will KB finally disconnects after watching the entire race. And so we had 3 DNFs from this race, 15 finishers, so 18 drivers overall, with our winner being Nassim Rula, our second place being Fulvio Phoenix, and our third place being Victor Bernat. So I will possibly get atted a billion times by something. What? Oh, there it is. It wasn't even anything to do with this league. But that is it. Every driver has crossed the line. Ven was the last one to cross the line. I would have thought maybe he would slow down to let his teammate through, just to not waste any time on track and chance an overtake. But now I'll go to chat and ask for top 3. As there's Ven doing donuts for a P7 between turn 3 and 4 on that little straight. As we go on board with him, his tyres have just gone, and so there'll be no more driving from this car as the rear tyres have exploded. And we watch Nassim now, who has also just finished doing donuts and blown out one of his rear tyres, and now he's just going to struggle to pit lane. Phoenix taking the car to the line and is going to watch Victor Bernat and just have a little tap between these two as we go into this view. Now we can see our second and third place drivers doing donuts into each other, but that was round one. It was round one of the Set Course Formula 1. And here are some donuts being performed. Phoenix trying to get the car to spin. Oh, where's Phoenix gone? He has disappeared, probably to pit lane, because if we now look down pit lane, there's only a handful of drivers and me. So now we are... I will just go join. As I quickly change to... I forgot an interviews one, pre-session chatting, I guess. That just does this. And so what I can do is I can drag Discord over. Like, wait, I'll just join it. Oh, Nassim's gone. Nassim's over here. I'm going to join Nassim. Don't worry, I'll wait for him in open talk. Hello, Nassim.
Hello.
How was that race? Lights the flag.
Yeah, it was nice. First like 2-3 laps were a bit stressful with Phoenix because he was matching me, but then I just found the groove and that was pretty. Just drove away really. Though towards the end, I think like the third last lap, I had the biggest jump scare of my life because my pedal support, the thing that actually keeps it stable to the ground, completely fell off. So like my entire pedal lifted. That's why I was super slow towards the end. I lost like 10 seconds the last 2 laps.
Because yeah, I saw on the last lap I watched you, and then through one of the hairpins you did have quite a big slide.
Yeah.
Yes, congratulations on the win.
Thank you, man.
There's many more where that came from.
Yeah, like I would think it was into one of the hairpins where I had the brake fail. Well, fail. I was so scared when I just felt like there was no brake pressure and I felt the pedal just left. Man. Still, good win, good race.
Yeah.
Good pace as well.
Very good pace.
Strategy was on point as well, like planned perfectly.
Yeah, as this is the first round, you are now leading the championship.
Yes.
So
I wonder. I think are we first in the constructors as well?
No, I think Beju Racing are because they got 4th and 5th.
Well, how many points is that? That's 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. So that's BOG got 10 and 12, right?
10 and 12, yeah. Okay.
So that's
24.
That's just 22. Oh.
22 even. Yeah. So yes, you are leading because you got 25
yeah,
points.
we got 32.
As that is Ven Lanuzanov, the leader for Over the Limit Racing. How do you think that race went for your team?
Yeah, it went alright, and
yeah,
I
the
think
win's
it was
alright.
good. I mean, I went through hell and back that race.
Yeah,
you know,
there was a
to get to where I was.
great fight between you and Jason there.
I do have to say sorry for him because I did tap him slightly on the front wing.
Yeah, there were a couple of little taps that we saw throughout the race, but lots of drivers struggled with the exit of the chicane, the final chicane of the lap, not the penultimate corner, but the one after the long right-hander where you brake through the right-hander.
Yeah,
lots of drivers struggled there.
Massive yellow curbs, right?
Massive yellow curbs, yep. I saw
yeah,
about 4 or 5. Wasn't that difficult for you? But we saw about 4 or 5 spins or instants there.
Wow.
So yeah, it was.
At least I'm glad first when the team was able to bring it home and that I was able to drive such a beast race. I mean, if it wasn't for the drive-through and that pit stop on lap 2, I think I could have challenged for P5 and P6. But you know, well, it is what it is. You know, it's racing.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we're going to get any other ones in here because Phoenix is quite a quiet driver and Bernat prefer not to be on stream. So thank you, Ven, for being with us as well.
And also, I'll be spending $1 million in the catering. This win.
Yes, give me all the food.
Yes, congratulations, Nassim, on the win, and congratulations, Ven, on now having your team leading the team's championship.
After this team wasn't even named to this about 2 to 3 weeks ago, I think. So for it
Oh yeah,
to
the
rise,
preseason was shit, man. Yeah, I had no pace. I was doing quali runs and I was 2 seconds off, but I guess it was just track specific because here I was, well, smashing it to be honest.
Yeah, lots of drivers didn't seem to like Mugello. I think it's a great track, but it does fly through tires, so you can only get 1 to 2 laps in.
yeah.
I think it's more the track car combination specifically.
Mm.
Because like I tried driving Mugello with the actual F1 car, like the newer ones, and it was really fun, but it doesn't quite gel with this car. Anyways, what's the next track now again?
The next track, I will get that up quickly now.
Kalame.
Is it Kailami?
Okay.
That's the wrong with standings. It's the one where I have that. Yeah, so it's Kailami next week, then it's Imola, then Austria. And then
interesting.
And then round 5 we have Valencia.
But yeah.
Ooh.
But basically, till the DR, we're very happy. I'm very happy with my drive. I'm very happy with Nassim being so confident in the car and bringing it home. And we're leading the championship now, and hopefully we'll stay that way till the final round.
Timo had very strong pace, just had a couple of incidents through the race, so he might try and fight you a little bit.
I think he was very close to Phoenix, like in qualifying and at the start. Just 1/10 off in qualifying at Phoenix, and then of course there was 4/10 to me.
Yeah, you
Anyway,
were insane.
I have to go do Bostings, aka prepare the 1 million catering. So,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Goodbye,
driver
Van.
of the day, from without saying myself, Van, 100%.
And Ven, who would you say your driver of the day is?
No. I would personally give it. I'll give it to Jason because.
Hey.
Yeah, I'll give it to Jason because he gave me one hell of a fight.
So we'll have to see what goes on with that, because reading it looks like that apparently Jason wasn't following pit entry and exit lines, so
Yeah, he's disqualified.
disqualified.
I mean, they have to show proof that he did. You know, I could always
It's
say.
in the chat. That's the thing.
Yeah, we need to look at.
I need to see the clip. The clips.
Ah, okay.
Alright, well, anyways, I gotta
Goodbye.
go into the paddock.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so Nassim, congratulations on the win, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Hopefully.
Okay, have a good evening now. Goodbye. That was our race winner, and that will be the end of stream. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the race. That was a great battle that we watched between Nassim and Jason there, with a couple others going on the track, but that was sort of the most thrilling to watch. And I'll see you all next week for the Kyalami Grand Prix in South Africa.